In a place far from the constraints of time, where the sky stretched without end, lived a young boy named Viran. The people in his village were known for one thing: doing as little as possible. If there was a way to cut a corner, the villagers would find it. "What others do is good enough for me," they'd say, shrugging off responsibility. Their houses leaned with neglect, fields grew wild, and nothing was ever done on time. To outsiders, this might seem lazy, but to the villagers, it was their way of life. Varan, however, wasn't like the rest. Even as a child, he liked things done right. Whether it was mending the fence or arranging water pots at home, he would give it his full attention. His father often chuckled, ruffling his son's messy hair. "Relax, Varan. Why work hard when no one else does? No one will notice." But the boy wasn't convinced. Deep in his heart, Varan felt there was something important about doing things well, though he couldn't yet explain why. One day, while wandering around the fields, Varan came across an old man carving something from wood. The man's hands moved slowly, but with care, shaping a bow. Varan stopped to watch, fascinated by the smooth rhythm of the work. "Why bother carving a bow by hand?" Varan asked, curious. "There are plenty of old bows lying around." The old man chuckled without looking up. "A bow is only as good as the hands that hold it. And those hands," he paused, tapping his own chest, "must learn to do things right, whether anyone's watching or not." Viran's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "Teach me," he said. And so began his training. The old man's lessons weren't just about archery, but about life itself. "Others may do what they like," the old man would say. "That is not your concern. Focus on what you are doing." Day by day, Varan practiced, learning how to shoot arrows with precision and how to take pride in every step of his preparation. One morning, a loud announcement broke the usual stillness of the village. "The grand archery contest will take place next month. Warriors from neighboring lands will compete for gold and honor." Everyone in the village buzzed with excitement. Well, almost everyone. Many villagers didn't care much about winning. They were more excited about the food stalls and performances that came with the event. But Viran felt something stir inside him. He wanted to participate, not just for the prize, but to see how far his own efforts would take him. When he told his parents, they laughed. "Do you even know what the other participants will be like? They've trained their whole lives. Why waste your time? Just enjoy the festival with us." Their words echoed the thoughts of other villagers who shook their heads whenever they saw Viran practicing. "Why bother trying?" they said. "It won't matter in the end. Everyone knows the best archers come from the capital." But Viran didn't stop. He practiced alone, from dawn to dusk, tuning his skills in every way possible. The wind didn't distract him, neither did the curious glances, nor the whispers behind his back. Each day, he focused only on his own aim. The day of the festival arrived with bursts of color and music. Crowds gathered from near and far, their excitement filling the air. Dancers twirled, food stalls overflowed, and performers amazed the spectators. In the center of it all stood the archery field, where the competition would soon begin. Competitors from across the region lined up with their polished bows and fine arrows. They wore armor that glinted in the sunlight, their faces calm and determined. In comparison, Viran looked plain, just a boy in simple clothes with a bow made of ordinary wood. Some competitors sneered, while others dismissed him altogether. "Why even bother?" one of the archers asked him. "Everyone knows only professionals win these contests." But Varan simply smiled. "It doesn't matter what you think," he whispered under his breath. "It matters what I do." The contest began with a series of practice shots. Each archer was given 5 arrows to hit the center of the target. The professionals shot with ease, each arrow landing close to the bullseye. The crowd applauded loudly. Varan's turn came last. He took a deep breath and blocked out everything: the noise, the murmurs, and the judgments. He remembered the old man's words. "It's not about others. Focus on your own shot." He released his first arrow, and it flew straight, striking just outside the center. His next arrows followed in steady rhythm, each one better than the last. The crowd grew quiet as they realized this boy was no ordinary amateur. By the end of the round, Viran had scored higher than many seasoned archers. A low buzz of surprise swept through the spectators. As the rounds progressed, the pressure mounted. Archers who had laughed at Varan earlier now glanced at him nervously. Each round was more difficult, with moving targets and trick shots designed to test the best of the best. But Varan didn't falter. His arrows flew with precision. "Are you not worried?" one competitor asked him during a break. "Aren't you curious how others are doing?" Viran smiled calmly. "I only care about how I'm doing," he replied. His words baffled the other contestants, who spent every moment comparing themselves, worrying about their ranks. They obsessed over the performance of their rivals, losing focus on their own aim. But Varan remained steady, as if nothing outside of him mattered. The final round arrived, and the tension was palpable. Only 2 competitors remained: Viran and a renowned archer from the capital named Rajan. Rajan was known for his flawless aim and had won countless tournaments. The crowd whispered excitedly, convinced that Rajan would win again. The task for the final round was nearly impossible, a moving target placed at a great distance. Each archer had only 1 arrow. The slightest mistake would cost them victory. Rajan went first. He steadied himself, drew his bow, and released the arrow. It flew fast and true, landing just a hair away from the bullseye. The crowd roared in approval. Now it was Viran's turn. Silence fell over the field as he took his place. He closed his eyes for a moment, breathing deeply. He knew the entire village was watching. He knew Rajan's arrow had set a nearly unbeatable standard, but none of that mattered. Varan opened his eyes, drew his bow, and released the arrow with perfect calm. It soared through the air, slicing through the wind, and landed squarely in the bullseye. The crowd erupted in disbelief and admiration. Varan had done what no one thought possible. He had defeated the champion. His parents, stunned, could barely believe what they were seeing. The old man, standing quietly at the edge of the field, smiled to himself. When the judges announced Viran as the winner, Rajan approached him. "I don't understand," he said. "How did you stay so calm under such pressure?" Viran looked at him with a kind smile. "I didn't think about you or anyone else. I only thought about my shot." That day, Varan not only won the contest, but also taught everyone a lesson they wouldn't forget. His victory wasn't just about hitting the target, it was about focusing on what truly mattered. Moral of the story: in life, it doesn't matter what others are doing. It only matters what you are doing. Success comes not from comparing yourself to others, but from focusing on your own path and doing your best, no matter what.